This is your WCFW Daily News Roundup for 105.7 CFW in Chippewa Falls and 93.5 The Tap in Eau Claire.
For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly. Wisconsin Credit Union held its 15th annual Mitten Tree fundraiser this year, collecting donations and cold weather clothing for people in need across western Wisconsin. Each November, the credit union puts up holiday trees in its offices where members can place things like mittens, hats, and socks. The donations are then distributed before the holidays to ensure people have everything they need when the winter weather settles in. Jenny Rathke is the vice president of member advocacy for the credit union and says the milestone anniversary was another successful year for the fundraiser.
It happened to be our 15th anniversary, our 15th year of doing this campaign. And in total, just this year alone, we collected over $3,000. And we also collected over 2,750 items. And again, that could have been any kind of cold weather apparel items. So we had both homemade and purchased hats, scarves, mittens, coats, socks, and things like that.
Wisconsin Credit Union first launched the Mitten Tree fundraiser in 2010, collecting a total of over $42,000 and over 35,000 cold weather apparel items during its 15 years. Rathke also says the credit union's philosophy is people helping people, and the donations show the community's commitment to that same philosophy.
To be able to supply some pretty basic cold weather gear fundamentals to community partners throughout the areas that we serve. We recognize that not everybody has the ability or access to, the important clothing that helps protect us from our Wisconsin elements out there. So every mitten, scarf, and hat that we collect or that's placed in our tree is truly a testament to how deeply our members care for one another in our communities.
19 Western Wisconsin organizations received a portion of the donations collected through the Mitten Tree fundraiser this year. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan was found guilty of impeding a proceeding in connection to an April incident with federal immigration authorities. The incident involved allegations that Judge Dugan let a man wanted by immigration authorities for being in the country illegally through a side door of her courtroom to avoid arrest. She was charged with felony impeding a proceeding and misdemeanor concealing an individual to prevent arrest or discovery, but was found not guilty on the misdemeanor charge. The jury announced the decision late on Thursday night. The U.S. District Court judge who presided over the case will determine Judge Dugan's sentence, but a date for that decision has not yet been set. The felony conviction carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison along with potential fines, though some legal experts say prison time is unlikely due to the nature of the case. Following the jury's decision, Judge Dugan's defense attorney said the case was a long way from over, and they plan to file a motion asking the judge to set aside the conviction based on the split verdict. Democratic state lawmakers are proposing legislation to eliminate property taxes for K-12 education. The Wisconsin Policy Forum released its annual property tax study earlier this month, which showed property tax levies will jump by nearly 8% this year. That increase would be the largest since 2018, and school funding challenges were identified as the main factor in the jump. School districts across the state have routinely turned to ballot referendums for the funding needed to maintain their operations, placing additional strain on property taxpayers. Under the proposed legislation, Wisconsin would be the first state to stop paying for K-12 education entirely with property taxes. Districts would instead receive their funding through a 1% tax increase on the current highest income bracket, as well as the creation of an additional tax bracket specifically for millionaires. Democratic lawmakers say the legislation would provide significant savings for most homeowners in the state and address the operational funding issues forcing school districts to propose operational referendums so often. The Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation will provide up to $200,000 in tax credits to support a significant upgrade project at Cascade's tissue plant on Forest Street in Eau Claire. According to a press release, the full amount of the tax credits will be determined by how many jobs are actually created and the total capital investment in the project. The $6 million project will see the installation of a new state-of-the-art converting line, which company officials estimate will create 36 new jobs over the next 2 years. The U.S. Department of Justice has officially filed a federal lawsuit against Wisconsin after the Wisconsin Elections Commission declined to provide its unredacted voter rolls. The commission rejected the request earlier this month, determining that the Department of Justice had not provided a suitable explanation for how that information would be used and that state law explicitly prohibits them from sharing it. While redacted voter roll information is publicly available, the unredacted voter rolls contain personal information like Social Security numbers and driver's license information. The Eau Claire Parks Recreation and Forestry Department is sharing tentative opening days for winter recreation activities. According to a press release, skating rinks and warming shelters are scheduled to open on Friday, with the exception of the Pinehurst Warming Shelter, which is already open. The Pinehurst Warming Shelter will also be open to gear share and sledding Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and from noon to 7 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. City officials are asking residents to stay off the ice rinks prior to their official opening so they can be properly prepared. Governor Tony Evers has announced Wisconsin will have a positive balance in its general fund for the 6th straight year. According to a press release, the general fund at the end of the 2024-25 fiscal year has a surplus of nearly $4 billion. The state's Budget Stabilization Fund, or Rainy Day Fund, also ended the fiscal year with a record balance of about $2 billion. In a statement, Governor Evers said the surplus is a testament to his administration's work in being responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars and paying off the state's debts. For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly.
Romeo Dobbs on the onside kick. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports NFL. The Chicago Bears able to recover an onside kick Saturday night that helped them beat the Packers 22-16 in overtime. Green Bay's Romeo Dobbs admits it was his mistake.
I just misjudged it. Credit to them. It was a great kick by him. Just on my end, I got to be better on securing the ball. It is what it is, man.
Dobbs suffered a wrist injury on the play. Jordan Love with a concussion. Malik Willis, a shoulder injury. Matt LaFleur asked, who's the team's emergency backup at quarterback?
Josh Jacobs is one, and then Jaden Reed is the other.
NBA, the Bucks losing by 3, 103-100 to the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Doc Rivers.
I tell you, we're a great shooting team, and we couldn't make a shot tonight. 14 for 45 from the 3, 40 of them were wide open. We'll take those all night. I loved how we played. I just didn't like that we missed shots.
Badgers basketball tonight. They host Central Michigan. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Chippewa Valley weather.
A little light snow this morning, then partly to mostly cloudy here through the afternoon. Our high today, 35, with wind out of the southeast at 5 to 10. Tonight, mostly cloudy, will drop to the low to mid-20s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 32. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 31.
That's your WCFW and the TAP Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WCFW.FM or thetap.fm.